Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Final Whistle here on the Bama Standard Network. Always hit that like, subscribe button. We got so much to talk about. Recap 8A. We're just going to dive into a lot of topics for you guys. As always, don't just hit that like, subscribe button. Smash that like, subscribe button. Tune in from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We are here. So as always, I like to introduce the crew. My main man, the big brother of Dan James, the birthday guy. Chris James, how are you?
What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? It's a Tuesday night, man. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And to his right, the one and only, the double agent, the guy who's part of Nico Limavela's agency.
Give me that money.
Give him that money. Show me the money. Jerry Maguire. The one and only Daniel Petty. How are you, sir?
Man, glad to be here with my Avengers on this Tuesday night. Rumor has it Chris's birthday present is what took Dan out of commission. Who knows? We'll have to find out later. But man, ready to rock this shit. Talk a little Bama football.
Ready to rock it. And speaking of rocking it, my brother from another mother, my main man, he brings the most along the show, the one and only Lucian Graves. How are you, sir?
You know, I'm always good when that stupid, ugly, putrid school to the north in Orange is on fire. And publicly, I like to go out on a limb and say, Nico, I support you leaving Tennessee. They'd have to pay me $2 million more a year to have to pay for that piece of shit colored orange school myself. I feel you, homie. I feel your pain.
Oh, man.
Roll that gum tide.
Roll that gum tide. We're going to talk about it, obviously. But we got a slew of topics, so we'll probably enjoy the rest of the show as we roast Nico. Speaking of Petty, I saw Nico's just got hired at Limestone Rock because he's got plenty of time on his hand right now, helping people get the finest rock in their yards.
I think he realized he may have waited too long to find a job, so he's been job hunting down here. It's representing on the hat tonight, realrockstone.com. I've got a crimson one. I got to find it. I should have wore it, but that might have been better. Hey, if you're building that dream home, inevitably you've seen one of those homes with that beautiful natural stone and said, I want a house just like that. Well, now's the time. Now's the place. Go to Limestone, realrockstone.com. They're located in Aniana, Alabama. They're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. And if you tell them we sent you by using the promo code the Bama Standard, you'll receive 10% off your purchase of stone. Look, man, that's not what Nico's going to get or hopes to get, but that's a pretty good penny off that stone. So give them a call today after the show, of course. And the good thing about this stone is it's not that ugly orange. It won't make your house unpretty,
It's not a garbage work convention.
Your house won't look like a garbage truck convention or a pumpkin after Cinderella got turned into a pumpkin,
It's that throw
or an Oompa Loompa uniform.
They're like, look, what the problem was, he couldn't understand Bobby Hill and all of his offensive coordinator. But he hired Boomhauer as his offensive coordinator, and Nico's like, what the hell is this guy saying, Bobby Hill? I can't understand this shit.
Does Justin know how to do the Bobby Hill impersonation?
We need the Boomhauer. Can you do Bobby? That would be the one.
Do Bobby.
We need Justin shaking his head. No, Bobby. If it was Roman Reigns, he'd be up here in a.
Man, any wrestler. Justin's going to be in WrestleMania in Vegas this weekend. I'm quite sure. So, guys, you see, we had to roast Nico in Tennessee. That will be all throughout the show. But guys, let's talk about.
Absolutely.
Let's shift gears to a real school, the real team of the South, the school that is the heartbeat of college football, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, roll Tide, all the fans out there in the comment section. Guys, let's talk about 8A. We know it's a different type of setup.
A practice.
And Listen, but I think it was very productive from what I've heard. Excuse me, from people who were there. Justin talked about it. So guys, let's give a recap. And I just think it was just good work for the guys. Alabama, just we got quarterbacks, we got certain position groups they got to show off, and I think it was positive for Alabama, a great step in the right direction moving forward for this 25 season. So Lushan, I'm gonna start with you. What is it excuse me, got you excited regarding A-Day, or what do you want to recap regarding A-Day and what you're hearing coming out of Tuscaloosa?
This year it's just what I'm hearing. I wasn't down there this year. I'm gonna be one of those guys that wasn't a fan of the fact that they changed the whole format up. So, but everything I heard was positive. I think I was most impressed with what Kalen DeBoer said about the offensive line. Now, I know people are going to say, like, well, he really would. It was the fact that he said a lot of guys, specifically 3 guys, can play different positions. And I know I've hit on that multiple times this offseason, saying how important it's going to be to develop depth on the offensive line. When Washington won that award, they had 8 guys that could go at any given time at different positions all across the lines. Because let's face it, this is the roughest, toughest conference in college football. You're going to get banged up. You're going to need somebody to step up, and the level of play cannot deteriorate from what it normally is. So I think the offensive line and what Olas Eleni, I'm real excited for what I was hearing about him, and just how the young guys are coming along.
Perfect. Justin, you were there. Just tell us what it was like to kind of be at ground zero and give us something that just kind of what you were excited about to see.
Well, I was glad to finally be able to put the eyes on the quarterback room. We've heard a lot from various parts of the media, all the websites. It is time to finally get to see for yourself. I was excited to be able to look at Keelan in person. I was excited to be able to see if what they were saying about Ty Simpson was true. I was also looking forward to see just where Austin Mack stood. There's been a lot of negative from different places as far as where he is in the pecking order. So it was really right in front of me. But keep in mind, this is just one viewing. So take it with a grain of salt. But everything that I saw stayed consistent with what we've been hearing up until this point. I'll start out with Keelan Russell. First and foremost, listen, this man is going to be a problem when it's his time. Isn't quite there yet. At times he played and threw like a seasoned veteran. And at times he played and threw like he was 18 years old. And that's just part of being a freshman, making that jump from high school to college. His ball was just coming out quick. Just had some serious zip. Had great decision making at times, and other times he kind of looked confused. But again, we go back to him being young. Austin Mack is noticeably behind everyone else. Have not seen a progression from last year to this. Still plays nervous in the pocket. His footwork is not there. Just looked confused at times and panicked at times. There were panic throws. And then also sat in the pocket way too long. It was very concerning considering how long he's been in college football, that he has not yet matured. So I would say that he is QB3 right now. Keelan Russell is easily QB2, but Ty Simpson unequivocally is your starter. Ryan Grubb already let you know earlier today and yesterday. We've seen it, all the posts come out. He's throwing the ball where it needs to be. There is no question. He's going through his entire route tree. He's looking at everybody. He's going through the progressions. He has command. He has respect of his team. His team is excited to play for him. He's just doing everything that you need him to do as a leader of that offense. He's already found his receiver, man, Isaiah Horton, guys. Listen, we've heard a lot about him. We've seen clips. We see all the pundits speaking about him, but in person, everything we heard did not do justice at all. He's got it. He's going to be an NFL wide receiver. He's that big body we've been missing. There are times where he just made DBs look silly. Well, the play of the day came from a double pass. Ty Simpson threw it to Jeremy Bernard, and Jeremy Bernard tossed it downfield and just dropped it over 2 defenders and landed in the hands comfortably of Isaiah Horton. Horton snags it, turns around, touchdown. Amazing. Lazare Brooks is that dude. What I was really excited about, Jalen Hale. He's back, guys. Is he back at full strength? Not quite yet, but you can tell it's coming. It's just a matter of when. Had some great catches, scored, did some great things. Cole Adams back in action. Was glad to see him doing what he did, made some good catches, returning kicks, returning punts. That's a guy you definitely want to see returning kicks. I was most impressed with Derek Meadows. I've said it over and over again. 6'5", can run routes, can track the ball extremely well. He's playing like a veteran out there. I really like that. I like his confidence, his swagger, and he just snatches the ball out of the air and dares defenders to cover him. You don't see that from an 18-year-old who's only been playing, like 3 or 4 weeks? My gosh, the upside. And when Kalen DeBoer says we're not just looking at 3 or 4 receivers, we're looking at possibly 5 or 6 rotation, there's a reason.
Yeah.
All those guys are legit. The secondary lived up to all the hype. My gosh. Cam Calhoun, love what he's doing. Drake Kirkpatrick Jr.
I saw him make some plays.
He's doing his daddy proud, no fly zone. And if a ball came in his area, he made people look silly. Swatted it out of the air, looking like Dikembe Mutombo, not to my house. Listen, they're living up to billing. Bray Hubbard continued doing Bray Hubbard things. Was really excited to see what they were doing. And the line. Edric Hill. Yeah, he's going to be that dude, just driving folks back. Jeremiah Beeman, absolute freak. Tim Keenan III is definitely one of the best defensive linemen in the country right now. I was really excited to see that he was showing us. Justin Hill, freshman. Guys, he's going to be a problem. Really like what I saw. He hasn't quite put it all together yet. I said this previously. When he does, damn. He's going to be a good one. But those are my main takeaways. I enjoyed the practice atmosphere, was able to see a little bit of everything, watching scrimmaging going on. It allowed you to see what they did as a team, but then watching them individual drills, you got to see what more of what they could do. I like that aspect of it. I know the fans didn't care for that. They want their original A-Day, and yes, I'm a purist at heart. I would love to see it, but I understand the why behind it. Of course, the transfer portal fear, but also from an injury standpoint. Listen, guys, we had a lot of guys who were hurt and who were out, who didn't get to play. And if a player or several players get hurt, that could be season ending. Why in the world would you risk that in a game that is meaningless? I get that. Mm-hmm. To the fans who protested by not showing up, listen, I understand the dissatisfaction, but ultimately when it comes down to it, the players had nothing to do with the format. They just went out there and did what they were told. It was more about the players and supporting the players. And for those who were in attendance, the players are very appreciative of it. I was able to talk to some of them and visit with some of them after the practice, and they were just elated, very humble, and very thankful for those who did come out. And I will say this, guys, the buy-in is there. The atmosphere is different. People are holding each other accountable, and they're pushing each other. They're encouraging each other. They're listening when coaches tell them to do something. Different team.
I like it. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you hopped on since you were down there. So, Patty, I know it's baseball season. Your Yankees are doing their thing. Just tell me what have you heard that kind of stuck out for you regarding, spring training, spring ball, or maybe
Hey, practice. The biggest thing I heard, man, and this is what sucked, especially with all the talk in the offseason, especially out of me, was that some asshole didn't fix the Denny dog situation. There's still some plain ass hot dog charading as the gosh damn Denny dog.
This
It's
guy
not a Denny
stands on
dog if
business.
it doesn't have the stuff. So I don't know if my words are going on deaf ears. I don't know if you're not freaking paying attention to the popularity of the show. Get this shit right. But what I've also heard is, man, I feel like what Justin said more than anything is this team was an identity crisis last year. I feel like it was a mix of Saban. It was a mix of Washington transfers and transfer portal players and players opting out. And it's like, what the hell are we? Well, we're looking for the standard. Nobody knew what the hell the standard was because it was a Heinz 57 out there. And I feel like with this new fresh class of young guys mixed with the Ryan Williams of the world and the young safety, the young secondary, I feel like we're, like Justin said, I feel like the attitude of this team is going to be different. And that's, to me, that's one of the most important things that you could have got out of spring. Look, man, I know people are upset that the format changed, but of all the changes in college football, this is one the coaches have wanted the longest. They'd have done this in the 90s if they could. They hate the damn spring game because of injuries. They want to get out of there healthy. They go vanilla in it. You really don't learn anything from it. It's always, when I realized that spring games were just basically a Tecmo Bowl, playbook, it didn't mean as much because but I get it. People want to see the players that are coming up. You do get certain evaluations. So the one thing I wish is they could find a way to bring that interest back, because it was sad seeing the stadium as empty as it was at a time that's usually kind of a celebration. I get it. People were like, well, yeah, well, no, that's a time that fans get to come out, enjoy Tuscaloosa outside of football season. So that's the biggest thing. But the on the football field, it's the youth movement. I think we're about to see a different attitude. The Lotsier Brooks, the Dijon Lees of the world, Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., the whispers out of camp were how well he looked. That DNA's starting to prove with that kid. But then the Meadows, the Nicos, the depth of this receiving core that we hoped to see last year that never came to fruition. Now you've got receivers, and I know that's going to be a subject coming up, so I won't go too deep into it, but there's some real depth at receiver now. And I don't know. So there's exciting to see that you got out of there healthy. You added some pieces in places you needed to add pieces, but you still got to do it when the lights come on in September.
Yeah, Chris, before I get to you, one thing that I really like was it seems like this team, to your point, Justin, Lushan, Petty, like this team seems more close-knit. I saw them yesterday at the softball game together, and they were pretty deep. And I was like, wow, just to see those guys support the softball team, in a big win. But I'm excited to see these guys. Chris, how you doing over there, brother? It's your go.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just listening to you guys. Yeah, man. I thought that A-Day was a little different, of course, because of the format. But I get it, because the way they're posting these rosters, you have a guy that may show out on A-Day, and next thing you know, here comes somebody swarming in behind the scenes trying to, throw some money at them because they may have a extra spot right here that they need filling with depth. So things like that, man. So I get it. I like it that it wasn't on TV. I mean, it doesn't take for us to see it to the boy knows what he's doing. Their staff knows what they're doing. So I don't have to watch practice to feel confident about this team. But all in all, man, I love what I heard about from the receiver room, man. Like I heard Coach brag on Rico Scott. That's somebody that hasn't been mentioned. Guys like that, man, like for years, I think since the Jameson, Williams, Mechie, around those years, our lateral receivers, like our fourth to fifth guys on the depth chart, really weren't difference makers, other than guys that making probably catch some across the middle, get a catch every now and then, get a first down. But man, we got guys that can make plays, that can get it and hit the head on the goalpost. Isaiah Horton, man, he may be the biggest pickup in the portal, man. In the entire SEC, because you think about it, he was slated to be Miami's number 1 this year. You take a team's number 1, and he's battling for, your 2 or 3 receiver role, because we already know that both Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard are number 1s, on the college level. So basically, we have 3 number 1s.
Well, and that's the point I think you're making there. And I don't want to I go back into it, Chris. Is we've got multiple number 1s again, not just one. Back the day where you had Ruggs, Judy, you had more than one number 1 on that field.
Yes, like our receiving core back then was better than some NFL receiving cores.
Yeah,
it
was NFL receiving core.
And I made a post the other day. I said I think that this may be the best receiving core in the country, not just the SEC, in the entire country, because you add a guy like Latzir Brooks in there, and hell, without the injury, he could have been a number 1. You get what I'm saying? So we may have more than 3 number 1s, because hell was a 5-star, big time guy that was coming into his own, and this was supposed to be his year 3. The year that he was supposed to, be that first round guy, and then you have Brooks coming in, you have Rico Scott. We already know what Rico Scott can do. So, man, I'm just excited about the receiving room. Good to have Cole Adams back, a sure-handed guy that could return punts. And then we didn't even mention Mbakwe. You know what I'm saying? So we have a plethora of riches, man.
My understanding didn't get mentioned because nobody saw him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to down the guy, but Chris, I didn't even realize he was there. Yeah. The only reason I knew he was there was the autograph signing.
But what's crazy, man, about it's like if you come in as a tweener, you hurt your chances more so than coming in at one position and sticking to it. Because when was the last time? The same thing happened with Burton Scott, with BJ Scott years ago. A great athlete, Matt. 5-star. Tell me.
I just think, to your point, Chris and Justin, you want to be dominant in one position first. You look at Charles Woodson, like he was all-world cornerback. He was so good, they put him at receiver. Like, you want to make sure you solidify your spot. But, it's a tough lesson. Right now I just think he's got to understand the word patience and working hard at his craft, because it's, you leave one position group to go to another position group and they are loaded.
Well, that's the biggest question, Matt. Who do you take receptions away from for him to get in the game, to get burned? I honestly don't see anyone being told to sit down so that Mbakwe can come play receiver. He's still learning how to run routes.
He would be great. He would be my returner, my guy. You're returning kicks. You're special with the ball in your hands. You're going to turn kicks. We may draw up something here. You get a reverse every now and then. Something double pass because you play quarterback. You can throw it wonderfully. He's a guy that you just kind of use as a Swiss Army, not like your Randall Cobb, I guess.
Yeah. Luckily, we got Ryan Grubb at the helm, and we should be able to figure that out.
But you want to know how awesome it was to see us properly execute slants and hitting the receivers in stride on slants. I honestly forgot how beautiful it was. Rico Scott was one of those guys who just was knifing his way through a defense, and oh my gosh, it's going to be something to watch. I'm excited.
Well, I'm glad we recapped it. Chris kind of hopped into our next topic, basically saying, does Alabama have the greatest receiver room in the country? We all believe so. We think they have a great secondary. But one thing I want to talk about before I give it to Lushan and Petty is I love the versatility that this receiving room is going to give you. Like, it's going to be so hard to defend. You got defensive coordinators like Kirby and Schumann and all those guys that are so detail oriented where they look at personnel groupings and all this stuff. It's going to be hard to pick up on tendencies where players are. And like Chris said, we got 3 number 1s that can, maybe 4, whatever. You look at the freshmen that can play all across the receiving route tree or different positions. So I'm excited about the versatility of this group, and being led by Jamarcus Shepard, and you got Ryan Grubb there to make things happen. So, Lushawn, I'm gonna give it to you and Petty, because I feel like Chris kind of already let us hear. Is there a particular player you want to highlight? What the floor is yours regarding this topic.
So, I was having a conversation about this with somebody last week before any of the A-Day stuff happened, just off what was being reported to us. And I was even looking back at it. I'm looking at this group as a whole, like basically kind of what Chris was talking about, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper in saying that we have so many different types of players that can do the same things as other players, but at the same time they're doing that, they also have another skill that player doesn't have. Whether you got a big guy that can run routes and he can be a possession receiver, but at the same time, that guy can outstride 98% of the secondaries in the country. Whereas you get a joystick guy, a Ryan Williams, you can put everywhere on the field, a Latair Brooks that you could put anywhere on the field, a Rico Scott that you could put anywhere on the field. But at the same time, all three of those guys are going to go get you a jump ball. So I even posed the question, I'm not sure if I've seen a wide receiver room that has 8 straight dogs in it like ours does, that when you actually put them on the field are going to absolutely carve up a secondary, no matter who you put on the field with them. You could mix up that rotation so many different ways, and they're still going to kill you. I don't know if I've actually seen, because yes, we've seen amazing wide receivers in rooms, but it's been maybe 1, 2, at the most 4. I don't think I've seen a wide receiver room that has a legitimate 2 straight flights of 4 guys that are going to absolutely drag you at any point in the game, ever, like for real. Because this is, people aren't really looking at it, and once the season starts, they're going to start to see what I'm saying, because they're not going to be able to be defended. That's how multifaceted, talented our wide receiver room is, and we are deep. And I say deep as in we are deeper than almost any room I've ever heard of, realistically. Petty, how do you feel about that?
I agree. I think, and to add on and then throw in Chris's point about maybe one of the best portal additions, I agree. Because what this does for Ryan Williams and open up his ability to go all over the field and not be double teamed over the top because you're coming into a sophomore year. If you didn't get that help, Isaiah Horton's a different type of player, man. Mm-hmm. And again, but to answer the question, are they the best in the country? I think without a doubt, like you said, we've got 3 number ones, and Bernard is a known quantity. What can Rico Scott provide? Can he be what we expect? He's a kid I love. Again, I say this all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it. He's like 6 foot, but plays like he's 6'2", 6'3" with his athletic ability and the way he can go up for the ball. What can Latair Brooks add as a freshman? Does he have that? I mean, we hear about his ability. Can he have a Ryan Williams type of impact that young? If he can, man, this takes this receiving core to a level we were hoping last year that really wasn't there. We might have had some Kool-Aid running in the veins and some Bama shades, and there's some injuries and stuff that happened and some stuff I'm not going to get into that you're thinking I'm going to go into, Matt. But I think the receivers are going to have a better opportunity at balls this year. So that also helps your receiving core be better.
Hell,
there you go. I gave you the nugget, Matt. But I do. I just think it's really, again, Isaiah Horton is a number 1 receiver anywhere. You pair him with Ryan Williams, then you put Bernard, who really came. I think he's better than we got to see last year. We didn't get to see it till the end of the year. He's a physical, strong son of a bitch. Like he's that receiver that's a lot tougher than you realize. He's think of Burton when he was here, but maybe even a little more physical. I don't know. I just can only echo at this point. This is one of those position groups that we were talking about it last night that kind of starts giving you the warm and fuzzies that it can be special this year.
Hell, Meadows.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Hell. I mean, and Derek Meadows is apparently just popping off the page as a young guy. I mean, we talk about Lotsier Brooks, but Derek Meadows is, I think, kind of throwing his hat in the ring like, hey, man, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh. Turn
Nico,
into.
It says Nico.
Nico has taken a deal at Fresno State Military Institute
and Cosmetology College.
Oh, they're gonna look up. They're gonna look up at what's the name of that diner on 15th Street Diner?
City Cafe.
City Cafe, yeah. It's a City Cafe. They're gonna be somebody will be getting their food. They're gonna turn around. They're gonna be Nico in line. Like, what you doing here? Oh yeah,
we're gonna have to pour one out for City Cafe. They
when you go get your Uber Eats order, it'll be like, oh,
he gonna be.
Not only that, Petty, the Northport Diner's gone too. That's just so sad to me.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Nico, I heard Mario Cristobal say, oh, we're not going to do that. But I'm like, Mario, you just signed a quarterback from Georgia for $4 million allegedly. Yeah. So I'm like, what are you talking about, sir?
And he sucks. And you had to sign Cam to save your job last year. And we all forgot how dumb of a coach you were. Man, you better put out the pocketbooks if you think he can win. But hey, I think we see him on the West Coast.
But let's be real. What I say is, Nico, like, he really, like, his numbers were very pedestrian. Like, you look at his numbers at the end of the game, 176 yards passing or 182 yards passing.
Oh, they were 77th passing offense in the country. They didn't go to the playoffs because of Nico. They went to the playoffs because they had a damn unbelievable defensive line and a good run game with Dylan Sampson, and Nico did just enough. He was the wall that kept them from going further.
They could. I actually lost a lot more games because of him.
No.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm done talking about the garbage.
I thought he was great.
I'm out of here.
Workers' convention.
I'm excited about this wide receiver group, Matt. The thing is you can't pigeonhole this offense anymore. They're not predictable. There are so many different ways this offense can operate with whatever grouping is in there. It's going to take pressure off of Ty Simpson to be playing hero ball. He is able to relax and play at his pace. And the other thing is, too, defenses are not going to be crowding the line of scrimmage either. They're going to have to legitimately account for receivers and running backs. So this is going to allow the offense to open up a lot more than what we're accustomed to the past 2 years. And let's not forget, we're going to have some of these running backs line up at wide receiver, like Draylon Washington. Dude's going to be a Swiss Army knife, Mr. All-Purpose. Get ready to see what he's going to do. But potentially, this wide receiver group could be the best in the country. So,
but
we will see.
You know what else this does? This takes the pressure off our tight end room. Now our tight ends don't have to be overly, you know what I'm saying? Like, Danny Lewis is a great inline blocker. You know, Cuevas is a great receiving tight end. So it doesn't take. You don't have to have a spectacular tight end room like, say, a Georgia, because you're lacking on the outside. You get what I'm saying? So Georgia had to load up on tight ends because their receiver group was fast, but kind of meh.
Cuevas is the X factor and the one who stands to benefit the most from this receiving.
You mean Georgia's receiving crew was fast and furious, is what you were saying, Chris?
Fast X.
They call the Hellcats.
Hellcats on wheels. It's crazy, but yeah, man. But it takes a lot of pressure off of them, the offensive line. The reason why I say that, because you can get it and throw it out there. You can get it, catch it, pop, get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? You don't, like, when you have receivers that can't get open, your quarterback gets sacked because he has nowhere to go with the ball.
Chris, you know the other thing too? I don't know if we've had this many wide receivers in one room at one time that are running over 20 miles an hour consistently.
Right.
Yeah.
As well as having guys that are 6'4" and 6'5", while having human joysticks and having a liquid guy. And then we just have two guys that are just absolute ball magnets.
This reminds me of my dynasty on NCAA 2012. It's like
I was gonna say, yeah, this isn't something that we've even had the pleasure to talk about, because I don't think Alabama has even ever assembled something like shit. It sounds like the Avengers for real. What we're describing. If you want to actually be for real about it, like,
but
think about it. Like all the different weapons we have. And we actually have a facilitator,
and
a running game.
COVID messed us up, guys, because of evaluations. We weren't really able to evaluate the way we that during COVID, man. Like our receivers, we haven't had a receiving room, that was really that people were afraid of. Like we've had it where we've had guys. I since 2019, since Devontae, when we had Devontae, Judy, Ruggs, all them together. That was the last time our receiving.
That was 2018.
Well, the 2019 to the year Tua got hurt. You remember when the year Tua broke his hip? We still had Judy and those guys, because in 2017 they were freshmen. You remember? But Ruggs.
Yeah, but they had Ridley.
They had Ridley in 2017. That was his last go, because Waddle came in the next year in 2018.
Yeah, but their freshman year really that was Ridley's last year.
Yeah, their freshman year really last year. But I'm saying the last time we had receiving core adjustment, would you say that was feared was 2019? Because I mean, people feared Jameson and Mechie, but they didn't fear the rest of the core, and it showed in the championship game when Mechie and Jameson got hurt, and we had to rely on Jai Hall. We didn't have nobody to step up. Once those guys went down. So the last time we had a feared core was 2019, the year before.
2019, 2018, easily.
We had Waddle's sophomore year. It was Waddle, Judy, Ruggs, Mechie. That was fierce. And we haven't had a core like that since then. And that's been a big problem. We've had guys, but we haven't had like dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like multiple. And I'm excited.
Yeah. That's the one thing I'm glad about, this new staff, DeBoer, Morgan, Shep. Like their evaluations, their talent evaluations have been pretty spot on regarding recruiting kids. They know what they want and they're going to get them. And I felt like we kind of lost that, to your point, with the Ajay Halls and all those guys, that came after, Ruggs, Waddle, and all those guys. So,
and one more thing, guys. Not to knock on nobody, but would you attribute that to who was coaching the receivers, the lack of development?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were just going after stars. You know what I'm saying? Like what the rankings say. Oh, we need to offer this guy. Whereas this staff, they're going after what they want specifically. Like you look at Jordan Edmonds. Wasn't he like a 3-star when we started recruiting him? Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, he went to the Arm American and he's like 5-star. So it shows you our evaluations are pretty spot on.
Courtney Morgan, man.
Yeah, I'm giving it to all the staff. They know what they want and they're doing a great job evaluating. I feel like, no disrespect to the GOAT, I feel like his assistants weren't giving him towards his later years. We weren't getting those game changers at Bama. We were just getting, guys.
They were average coaches.
Yeah, true.
I mean, let's just be real. They were average coaches, and Coach Saban said that because of the fact he even said it point blank, we didn't have the good coaches that we were accustomed to. So I had to take on more of a role, and it tired him out. He couldn't do it anymore at 70+ years old. So at that point, you want a guy like Coach Saban to be a CEO, and he's able to rely on his coaches, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we did a great job observing and analyzing this topic. So speaking of fast group of guys. This summer, when you're working out or before you get to Tuscaloosa, it's going to get hot. You're going to need that famous crimson towel from Title Towel at wetwillsports.com. Get you a Title Towel. Get you one for the football season, and represent the Crimson Tide with an official Crimson Title Towel at wetwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD, STANDARD. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Okay, so guys, let's move to our next topic. I know this guy is really passionate about it. Lushawn, I know you're big on Chuck Morrell, the linebackers coach, his impact. Looks like he's having a really good impact on those guys. I heard a lot of people highlight QB Reese, Quentin Reese's sons, that was linebacker at Auburn. Listen, I heard he looked good, but Lushawn, can you just talk about the impact that he has had on this linebackers, guys in the middle, and kind of really just developing these guys to be next level, kind of what we've been missing in the past years?
Well, I think a big part of why he's been so successful is the way he's able to teach the actual position within this scheme. Because if you look at last year, like what they said, that he was working with the linebackers, you saw a difference in how these guys were playing, how these guys tracked the ball. And a lot of that has to do with the scheme that Kane Womack runs, but it also has to do with the teachings and tutelage of Chuck Morrell. And you've actually seen that in mostly the younger players. As we've all talked about, we've had some injuries. Deontay Lawson's been out. Justin Jefferson's also been out. So we've actually got to see some of these other players and the actual effects of his coaching. As they just said, QB Reese has been showing out. A guy I'm very high on from our modern day California pipeline, Abdul Sanders, has been on it. He came in ready, and he's been showing it. He's been showing out. He's a very, very physical kid. He's very smart, and he fits in this scheme perfectly. And I think that is partly to do with Chuck Morrell and how he's just been able to mold these linebackers into the type of linebackers that need to be successful in this defense. Because as everybody thought coming into this defense that they weren't going to be successful in the SEC, we weren't going to be able to run this defense and actually be able to keep people from scoring. Well, I hate to say it, we kept people from scoring 20 points last season within the defense, and that was the first year. The defense is going to get better. The cornerstone to a great defense is amazing linebacker play. Look at last year's defense. You had a trio of just absolute head-hunting freaks with Deontay Lawson, my favorite and hopefully future first-round pick, Jihad Campbell, in the next couple weeks. And you had Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when, you know what I'm saying? But we got two of those guys back. And on top of that, we returned talent, went out west, plucked a guy from Colorado that wanted to hit real grown men and put him in a crimson uniform, and we got him. On top of that, we went to Georgia, straight stole their talented linebackers and put them dudes in crimson. And you've seen those freshmen come along. I think it's the ability of these Chuck and all these coaches we've hit the last couple weeks that actually bring these young guys along, because that's the one thing this team was missing is depth. How you build depth is you bring young players along and you build their skill. You got to build their confidence up, but it's got to start somewhere. And I think he is another coach that should be commended for the job that he's done, not only in the offseason, but in the spring.
Anything y'all guys want to add to this topic? Because Lushawn did such an amazing job on it.
Yeah. I just heard that Abdul Sanders has been straight out killing it. But the thing about that, guys, is like when you have when you come from a program like Mater Dei that plays that type of competition that they play, you tend to come in more ready than a guy that say played single A ball in Oklahoma somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He played the highest league, one of the highest leagues in the country in California, against one of the toughest schedules in the country. And he's been doing it for the last couple of years. So it's not surprising that he was able to come in and adapt so well. Those guys that play those big time programs, man, they kind of have a leg up on the guys that come from the smaller programs because they're used to that competition, not quite the speed because there ain't nothing like SEC speed, but you're more likely to get a client to it quicker than a guy coming from small ball. And small ball has produced a lot of guys, but for the most part, it's just taking them time to kind of adjust, to life in this conference. So I just I'm not surprised by the emergence of Abdul Sanders or Derek Meadows, because Derek Meadows played at Bishop Gorman, which was another, wasn't it Bishop Gorman?
Yeah.
Vegas, nationally ranked school. So those guys that are coming from those types of programs and coming in shining, that's not a surprise at all. And you got to have those types on your roster because they know how to win. They come from winning programs, and they played under the lights. They've been under the microscope and spotlight. So it's an easier transition for those guys. So I expect those guys to play rather sooner than later.
Yeah, Patty.
No, man, I think y'all nailed it. I've heard the same about Sanders. Outside of a name like Stonebreaker or some shit, there's not more of a linebacker name than Abdul Sanders. So he's even got that going for him. But no, that's the name that I heard that kind of popped to the Young Bucks, that like he came in ready-made. I'm really excited to see. Again, you only got to see so much. I'm ready to see him on the field.
Lushan.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. We better not fumble another great linebacker named Sanders, or I'm going to put my.
I agree. Yeah, one thing I love about this staff, they're going to play. They like to play a lot of guys, and it's going to be even more evident this year. And I think that's just going to benefit, guys who come in the summer. This team's going to be locked in, get ready for Tallahassee going down to Florida State week 1. So it's a long season, and we need depth, we need experience, and they're going to play a lot of guys because I think these guys are playing the long game after year 1 under this staff. So, guys, I know somebody was in the comments was like, did we get a recruit over the weekend? Yes, we did. We got a big-time recruit. 4-star EDGE Kamhariyan Johnson from the Muscle Shoals area. Guy is an absolute stud. I'm excited about him because I was a little nervous. I think it's going to be Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia battle. And listen, we were able to get his commitment. Alabama's got some momentum going in, but I'm gonna let our defensive guru Lushan kind of speak on what he loves about this kid, and potentially seeing other recruits. It looks like Alabama's going at a lot of D linemen on this board for 26. So I want to hear Lushan's thought about that. The floor is yours, Lushan.
This guy is what we defensive guys talk about when we say relentless pursuit. If you watch this kid's film, he is constantly on the absolute throat of the ball carrier. No matter where that ball carrier is, he is running. And at 260 pounds, that's a big dude. And you see him move, he doesn't move like a guy that's 260 pounds. But I can tell you this, he's throwing dudes that are well over 300 plus pounds. And it's not just the way how he gets there. He knows how to finish. And that's been one of the big things I've been griping about at some of these guys that were in the 25 class. They might have been able to get there, but they didn't finish, and they didn't finish with any type of aggression. That is not the issue with this kid. The issue with this kid is that he is not in a class on Alabama until next year. I am getting excited for this defensive class that they're starting to put together. Courtney Morgan is starting to cook something, y'all, and it's starting with this defensive line class. This defensive line class is getting mean. As we said before, the stars don't matter. They're identifying the type of guys that fit their scheme. And that is the most important thing. They're identifying the talent. And Kamhariyan Johnson is one of those dudes that is going to be a certified freaking road grader here in a couple of years. Y'all need to go check out his film because I'm telling you, it's a good watch.
Chris, you want to add to this? Petty?
I just know the side stuff.
No, and this just answered. Look, I know it makes Lou happy because the one thing, this is what a couple months back, one of the big debates on this is we got to start getting those in-state linemen locked down. And Kamhariyan Johnson comes from an area of the state, North Alabama, where, look, you were talking about Tennessee being a battle. They picked some kids off from the north part of the state from time to time. So going up, defending those northern borders and getting it, like Lou said, I've watched a little bit. This kid, there's a reason that Georgia, Tennessee, and I think Ole Miss on that side was in the game. Bama had to fend off some people spending some money. This kid's going to be, but again, it starts with the defensive line. You've got to have edge. You've got to have a push on the defensive line. If you want to be an elite defense, it starts right there. And this was a hell of a start. I'm with Lou, man. He's right, man. Pay attention. This staff is recruiting hellaciously on the defensive side right now.
I'm excited about that, and I'm glad how they're going out the regional guys, in the state, but just getting really good talent. Their evaluations are really spot on. Chris, what you want to add? You're on mute.
I just said he was a need, and that was a good pickup, man.
That was huge. I was nervous about him going out of state.
Yeah.
Lou?
To quote our recruiting specialist, Dan James, I know he's not here, but I'm going to say a couple words about him instead. Dan James said his comp to this kid is Trayvon Walker, if that gives anybody a clue. And you know how accurate our recruiting specialist is when he describes players.
Yeah.
And I fully agree. This kid is a ball tracking nightmare. And I said the only problem with this, we got to wait a year to get him on campus. But just keep an eye out because Courtney Morgan and company they got some dudes
cooking.
They got some mean dudes in this class, and they cooking. It's going to be another cold summer.
Cold summer.
Courtney Morgan, Tennessee fans, that's a general manager. That's the position you hadn't hired up there that just cost you a damn quarterback.
We got ball fans.
No, I was just letting them know if they were out there.
Okay. Please tell me we got Vol fans in the chat.
I was about to say it was about to be on and popping.
They were in the chat last night.
Oh, they were.
Hey, somebody pop up that question that Latoya Billingsley just asked.
We got several questions. We got we got a good segment coming. I think there were several good questions throughout the night.
Because I don't want to get that one lost.
Yeah, let that one go last.
All right.
So
we just
Justin, you run this or I need to run it? The Q&A? Oh.
Q&A.
Run it from the top.
I'll run it on you guys. Okay. I was going to make one up. What do you think of Ola Saladin? I think Lou alluded to it. How he, this offensive line going to have to be 8-9 deep. It's a long season. Got to get a lot of depth, a lot of experience. Lou, what else did you add?
He's been playing a lot of left tackle, and he came in as a guard. So I think that's highly impressive. A guy that can kick out and play tackle at the same time as getting rough and ugly in the middle with the guards. And I think to my point earlier, that's going to be important going down the season because you just never know what's going to happen with your offensive line. it's a long season, and we don't play a Big Ten cupcake schedule. We actually play teams that got grown ass men that play on the defensive line. We play teams that got 300+ pound dudes that like to hit people, not 280 pound guys that just like to tap people and set them down. This is a rough sport down here, so you're going to need bodies. Olas Elenin is going to be one of those bodies. He's going to be a factor in some way this year, and he's earned it. He stayed, and he has properly shown that the process can still be maintained and effective.
I love to hear that.
I also want to add that Michael Carroll showed out in a big way this past Saturday. People were not getting past him. He stood his ground. He dictated what the guy in front of him did, and that guy in front of him didn't do very much at all. So this kid has got a lot of potential. And listen, Wilkin Formby did his thing, and he's doing his thing. He's improved tremendously. But my gosh, this kid, when he gets his opportunity, it's going to be special.
And I heard Kalen DeBoer mention piggyback off that on his press conference yesterday, him, Grubb, Womack, but Kalen DeBoer specifically highlighted, he said Michael Carroll and Jackson Lloyd are going to be phenomenal football players in the future. So that's exciting to hear. So I'm glad to hear good things coming from Tuscaloosa regarding their offensive line.
Blue chip like Carroll changes the game.
Yeah. HB98 says, why are so many fans pushing narratives? I wish Keelan the best, but he could easily be another 5-star QB buzz. Simpson's the best option. Let him cook. I just want to say this. I wouldn't say fans pushing narratives. I mean, you get fans that are passionate, but at the end of the day, what matters is what the head coaches and the coaches see in and week out, what the players see. And there's no narrative that the fan is going to push that's going to affect a quarterback battle. They have no say-so what goes on in the locker room. So, yeah, there might be some people pushing their favorites. It might not change anything. But, listen, the best thing I would say, Ryan Grubb said if we had a game tomorrow, Ty Simpson would be the starter. But he said our quarterback room as a whole is still got rooms to go. They're not where they need to be come football season. So we still got a lot of development. We still got a long way to go. But I think we're moving in the right direction. So the fans are not going to have any say-so in this quarterback battle, because at the end of the day, one thing I love, Ryan Grubb said Ty Simpson has earned that right by his performance in practice and all that stuff. So it's going to be out there it's going to be the guy who goes out there and earn it and make the right decisions at the right time. Anybody want to add to this?
Well, and it's not as much fans. It starts with shows like people and not ours, but a lot of shows were trying to push narrative of a QB battle when they weren't even getting information on the QB stuff. So it put a lot of, and look, to Keelan's credit, he's the number 2 player in the country. He's like from everybody that has seen him that's been behind the closed door says, look, the kid's special. You can tell there's zip on the ball. He looks a little different, but he's also a kid that's coming into the SEC from freaking high school. There is I don't care if you went from Duncanville 7A Texas football where they do it like a college. It ain't a college. It's not the SEC. So there is an adjustment period. And so it's more talking heads that we're trying to build a narrative of a great kid that's probably going to be a great player, but also making people lose sight of, look, man, Cam Newton didn't step on he sat behind Tebow. Tebow sat behind Leak. Tua set behind, Hurt. It goes on. Mac set behind all of them. Like some guys, it's like we forgot that development's a thing and we want to rush to everything. So yeah, it's not as much. It's just media talking and talking. So then people are like, well, I want this. We want to see this new kid. And again, no, man, hold up. Ty's going to be okay. There's no narratives being pushed. He's going to be the starter. And if he's not, Russell's going to get his chance to show it. But I mean, from all accounts, Ty's waited his time, which is what quarterbacks have done way back in yesteryear. I know it's a lost art. And, I don't think that's necessarily a negative. I don't think that means he couldn't be good enough to play. Maybe he was, but maybe the other guy was just good enough. I think Alabama's in good hands with the quarterback is the deal. And you've got a freshman that's going to be very special. So people want to see that early, but you're going to have to hold your horses because he's still a kid.
Yeah.
I think 85% of our fan base has no clue
but you can go ahead and take that. You could go ahead and take Keelan Russell being a bust out the window of the sales, because that ain't happening.
Yeah,
I'm here to say that right now.
Yeah, I don't think the kid's going to be a bust. I think he's going to be special, but he is still a kid, man. Look, most of the greatest quarterbacks all through the history of time set for a year. Very few went in as a freshman and just set the world on fire. It doesn't happen. I think Michael Vick may be the only one I can even remember, and he may have even been a red shirt. So I don't, it's. Doesn't happen.
Well, even Tua Tagovailoa, as great as he was, had to wait for the right opportunity, and he progressed at his speed, and it benefited him the most. We saw the end result. 85% of our fans, I was saying, have no clue what they're talking about and do not understand football, and a lot of the fan base think, as Nick Saban said, that we're supposed to crap out players and they're NFL ready the moment their foot touches the field, which is absolutely absurd. And the fan push narratives about Ty Simpson are absolutely stupid. A lot of people are basing his whole career on how he performed against South Florida. Okay, that situation was not ideal. He came into a game in the second half where a team was on strike because the player they wanted to start at quarterback was benched. They were showing you they didn't approve of it, so they weren't giving him the best opportunity. And plus, that was only his second game in meaningful snaps. He's supposed to be able to operate at Pro Bowl level in those conditions immediately. And they say he's mid or he's trash based on what sample size. The times we've seen Ty, can you even say that the total combined time equals that of a full length game? No, you can't expect a quarterback to come out and look like a perennial powerhouse immediately. But for some reason, people think he's trash. Well, and then they say, well, Keelan's better than Ty. Based on what? What he did in high school? Like Petty said, it's a completely different game between high school and college. When you're playing in high school, even if you're playing at a powerhouse, you're not playing against powerhouses every single week with college level players across the board. So it's a bit skewed. It's mind blowing hearing what fans say. And some fans say Austin Mack's better. Some fans say Keelan Russell's better. Well, Austin Mack's sample size is even smaller than Ty's, and Keelan Russell's sample size is 0. So what are you basing all this logic that you're throwing at us off of?
Yeah, we just live in a microwave society. Everybody wants stuff right now, and
that's it.
Sometimes you got to let players develop. That's how they get great. So let's get to the next. Kenneth said, I heard Smoke say we need an edge rusher out the portal. I thought that was the position we were deepest at. I don't know. I mean, Lou, do you think we need to get somebody out the portal? I think we're pretty set with the D lineman we do have. Do you think we need to get edge out the portal? I think we're good.
No, I just think our edges need to put their hair on fire.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
Flat out. I think Christian Robinson will have them where they need to be this season.
I agree too. Let's go to the next question. Besides Bernard and Horton, who is Mr. Reliable? Ryan Williams? That's an easy question. Yeah, I think all
Cole Adams.
Yeah,
if I know Kyle well enough from our shows, he probably was it just kind of exempting Ryan Williams from even being mentioned.
Okay. Yeah, I think one thing about, as we touched on earlier, we're deep across the board. And I think, like Lou said, Cole Adams, Slotty Pippen, like he is a really reliable. Like he came in when Kendrick Law was down, he filled that void admirably. So, I like Cole Adams as well as Ryan Williams and some other guys as well. Lachier, Brooks, Meadows.
Nico's my sleeper because I know people are talking about it, but he's my one that I think maybe works his way to he's the fourth guy out of the gate.
Okay,
maybe wrong.
Who?
I mean Rico.
Who'd you say?
We've said Nico so much.
You said Nico.
Rico.
I was like,
I guess we're going to go high
Nico.
I meant Rico Scott, not Nico. I'm leaving Tennessee for somewhere else.
Yeah. All right, Josh Haney. How many 1,000-yard receivers do you think Bama have? I think we discussed this question last week. Chris says 2.
Is this Groundhog's Day?
Yeah, we had this question.
Yeah, we had this question. I think we all said 2.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
It's gonna be like PlayStation. We're gonna have 4,000.
I think it's going for the greatest show on turf.
I say we'll have 4 receivers with over 500 yards receiving.
Easily.
That's what I think.
Ooh,
I think Ryan Williams has 1,200, and then Horton has 700 to 900, and then you got 4 or 5 guys that
900. Then you have somebody like the fourth guy, somebody like Brooks with maybe 500. Either Brooks or Rico Scott or Hale, one of them going to have 500 yards.
Yes, Josh, you ask it every time, but here we are answering it every time. We still answer it, so it works.
Hey, but we're not. You guys aren't feeling something here that we also need to take into consideration. Whoever doesn't win our quarterback competition will be the backup, and they're going to be effective with the football. It's not going to be like last year when we didn't have a passing game because we're not blowing people out. We're going to blow people out. So that ball is going to constantly be going down the field. So I put the number of us having 500 receivers at about 5.
I like that.
Because we're going to push the ball down the field.
I agree.
And you have to remember, those little touch passes, when they come through, that's a pass. We got a lot of guys that can take that distance very quickly. So we're going to have 5 guys with at least 500 yards receiving from our receiver room alone, as well as having 1,000-yard receiver.
I like those odds. Josh Haney again. So what do y'all think will lead the rushing yards? Who do y'all think will lead the receiving yards?
We did answer this.
Ryan. Rushing yards gonna be Jam. Receiving yards gonna be Ryan.
We just answered this.
Jam's gonna
he said how many 1,000-yard receivers. He's actually who's going to be the leading in each room. I'm gonna go Young and Williams.
I'm gonna say Jam because I think he's gonna get the most opportunity. He's earned the most trust.
I don't
know. He's gonna be on the field the most.
I might go. I'm torn between Jam and Young, and I don't know. This is gonna be different. This is not. You got to get out of the old mode of Bama. Like this is a deep.
Who's going to be leading?
Yeah.
Who's going to be most effective?
Yeah, it's going to be
it's
like
a better question. Who's going to be that guy?
You might have a different guy leading in touchdowns. You might have a different guy leading in receiving yards. Like it's going to be a running back by committee that is going to be so many different effective guys. Is going to put defenses on pins and needles. So I think this is.
I think Isaiah Horton leads the team in touchdowns.
I can see that.
I wouldn't be shocked at that at all.
Yeah. Next question. What was that last one? Toy business. Do you feel like Freddie Roach will be on the hot seat if the D-line doesn't produce this year? Fred, who wants to take this one? Is this one Chris wanted or not?
Yep. And
he tapped out.
We've lost him. Chris, did they come get you? Did it finally happen?
Put the popcorn down, Chris.
No, that was me earlier, guys. Sorry.
He
I don't know.
He fell asleep and the screen timed out.
I'll answer the B part to this question. I don't see the D-line not producing. I think to this point, I think this is an important year for Freddie, especially with the recruits he's got coming in or he's recruiting. These guys need to produce, and we need to put guys in the league next year. So I think if he does that, I think Freddie would be fine. Lou, Petty, how y'all want to answer that?
I mean,
is it as bad as last year? I don't know. But Freddie's kind of seems almost, he's so ingrained in the program. He's very well liked. He's a hell of a recruiter. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Let Lou do it.
I would say that if the sack total isn't up around 35, there's going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
Because especially for how much this defensive line has talked about what they're going to do these last couple years, and we ain't seen it. We have yet to see it. I have full confidence in them this year, going in year 3, most of all with some of these guys, Jordan Raynaud, Keon Keeley, James Smith, Edric Hill. I have full confidence in those 4 to get it going. But if by some crazy messed up reason that Jeremiah Beeman doesn't break through and all these other guys I've mentioned don't break through and somehow we don't have an amazing defensive line, then yeah, I think he will be probably the prime coach on our staff that's going to have to be on the hot seat. Alabama having a bad defensive line is absolutely unheard of.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Especially for multiple years.
Well, that's it. Hit that like, subscribe button. If you got any more questions, tune in again next week. Same time, same bat channel here on the Bama Standard Network. Petty, how can they reach out to you besides, you reaching out for Nico's contract?
Man, if I could go back in time, Matt, you played in the wrong era, homeboy.
I know.
Jeez,
I
buddy.
wouldn't want to play in this era. I mean, I'm glad. I don't never want to be the guy. Like, money's important, but like,
I know. I
mean, playing with your brothers and like, I don't think I could just leave my guys and be like, yeah, I'm not going to practice.
Well,
like, but like, I don't know.
One of the things I heard a baseball coach tell his college team one time, and it really set with me. He said, and it was before they were playing in the College World Series. And he said, look around, because this is going to be the last few days that you play for a team you love and you chose to play for. You're going to get drafted or you're done with baseball or and that's the same way, what you were talking about. You chose Alabama because you loved Alabama. You weren't leaving Alabama. And we're now in this era where these guys, it's, they're doing it for the money. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's sad because now college football is that. You're not going, this isn't the last place, the college landscape isn't the last place you play for because you love the jersey, you love the university. And that's now changed. So yeah, it sucks, but still, dude, you would have made some bank, man. Come on. Yeah. All about that capitalism, baby. What would you have really done, Matt?
Shoot, I don't know. Maybe
starting wide receiver in the SEC. You'd be calling for $500,000 right now.
No. More like $25 or something like that.
And some Tic Tacs.
Yeah, and a Wendy's gift card or something like that. That's about it.
Well, look, man, you can follow me. I'm on Twitter, X, Petty_Daniel. I'm on the Bama Standard. Monday nights, opening kick, 7 Central. Holy shit, just out of nowhere, like a magic trick. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, opening kick with my man Smoke Dixon. Tuesday nights, I'm on the Bama Standard at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. We have got a very special guest next Tuesday. The man with the golden arm, Brody Kroll himself, will be in the house.
What? Y'all found Brody?
Yeah,
Brody 12 showing up next week. And then, of course, man, I'm always here on this is my flagship. This is where I got my start on this network with these badass gentlemen, the Avengers. I'm always here on Tuesday nights. And that's it, man. Basketball season's over, so no going hard in the paint. Check out, hit that like and subscribe so you can get the Dynasty and all the good stuff the rest of the week.
All right. If I'd have had the nil deal, it would have been with Buffalo Fields.
That'd have been your NIL deal, Buffalo Fields.
Joke, but I'm not gonna make a joke.
Dominoes for them dining dollars.
Matt's would have been Trojan man.
Nah, that's what's on Chris' shirt, so I was gonna go there.
Trojan.
Matt been the first NIL for Trojan.
No.
Don't leave Rose without him.
I would have been my NIL would have been with the local church because I was, much Bible study and prayer. I'm just
mine would have been a club, CC, the Citizen Club.
The only former player who had more kids than Chris was Sean Alexander. He barely beat Chris.
I want to touch on this. I'm good. I'm sorry. I know we're running out of time, but Latoya brought real quick. How do y'all feel about Shedeur and Travis getting their jerseys retired? I've got this shit's dumb. That's something. He was almost 500 as a quarterback. Look, Travis won the Heisman, but
I understand Travis.
He's not Cordell Stewart. He's not Eric Bieniemy. He's not Rashawn Salam. He's not Charles Johnson. He was a 13-12 quarterback. Are you shitting me? Who lost to BYU in a bowl game and we're retiring number 2, which happens to be a number a lot of dudes like to wear.
I don't want to play.
What the hell? No, that's the dumbest president of all time.
They might just be retiring the jersey, not the number.
It's the number.
They're retiring the jersey.
Jersey.
No, they're the numbers.
But if you're going,
they're retiring the numbers. Number 2.
Yeah,
you can't retire on number 2.
How do you
exactly?
How does he come before Cordell Stewart?
Cordell Stewart didn't even have his jersey retired, and he was damn good.
I'm like, why are they doing it so soon? Is my thing. Like, I wouldn't want to.
Why would you put him before a
Prime
Heisman winner and Rashawn Salam, like Petty said?
Yeah, Rashawn Salam, Eric Bieniemy, like
Deion is probably behind hell.
Probably.
Look, I'm good with Travis. Travis is a generational. We don't see two-way players in this game anymore.
I get that one.
I'm good.
No problem there.
I don't. I
get Travis.
I don't. I'll say that till the day I die. I don't.
I don't mind a Heisman Trophy win again.
But doing it a week after their season's over, come on, man.
He hasn't even played NFL football yet.
No.
To get your jersey retired, you got to do something in life. Not in a season, in life. Like that doesn't even make sense.
I think Shedeur's more hype.
Did we retire Smitty's jersey?
Than production.
No.
But Bama doesn't retire jerseys.
No, I think Shedeur. I don't think Shedeur's the second best quarterback in this draft. I think he may be fourth or fifth.
No, it's I understand Travis Hunter completely though.
I think
he's a generational talent.
I just think it's too soon. The timing.
They should have waited like 5 years from now.
5 years down the road.
I mean, is there a bigger daddy ball move in the history of shit? Like, my son's getting all-star. I don't care that he hit 120 and picks his nose in right field. He's going to the all-star because I coached, by God. Okay, we get it. That's the biggest daddy move I've ever damn seen. It's something.
They didn't never win nothing.
No,
nothing.
Well, you didn't win nothing. Why is your jersey get retired? You didn't win shit.
Dude, they got hold by Stanford.
I don't care.
They got hold by Stanford.
I don't care if you won the Heisman.
The
team was ass.
I'm with you.
Dude, Travis Hunter got freaking hosed by a freaking Stanford wide receiver. I don't want to hear shit.
No, I don't want to hear nothing. And you're right.
Got toasted by a Stanford wide receiver.
I could hear an argument for a two-way
Stanford. Not no SEC. Stanford.
Name his signature win.
The hell out of here with that shit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You read this up here at the end. Good job.
Name his signature wins. I'll wait.
Hey, Colorado State in overtime.
You don't have any. You played
Colorado State in overtime.
Colorado.
Unbelievable. They beat TCU that time when TCU sucked worse than people thought. That was pretty big.
And what happened in games that meant the most and actually could have gotten into the playoffs?
Well, mighty Kansas just blew their ass off the field, so there's that.
Yeah, and Kansas was had 4 wins? Stellar.
I don't know. But yeah,
it's just like whatever, man. Go Colorado.
I was not expecting it to turn there, but I saw that it was that. Good job, Latoya. Good one. Good bomb to drop at the end of the show.
It was because I wanted to say something how stupid that was.
So damn dumb.
Lou, I
For
know
a 500 quarterback. Well, man, shit. We need to go give Coker retire his number. Bo Wallace at Ole Miss get his on their Ring of Honor.
Shit. If they're retired 500
does Bama have a jersey? Bama's playing in the hundreds. We've got 101, 112.
Bama's not going to retire.
So are we retiring Milrow?
No.
We retiring Milrow. He went more than 13 and 12.
Dude, at least Milrow got to a title. Milrow at least played for a title.
Yeah, he's got rings. And an SEC championship.
They would build a statue over the stadium of him in Colorado, apparently.
Shador don't have that.
Daddy.
Like, damn.
But I guess they made Colorado football great again.
Based on that logic.
You can't deny the financial income he brought to.
Hey, Matt.
Legit.
Matt, based on that logic,
so go ahead and bank and put his name on it. Don't retire.
That's what they should. Yeah, don't retire his jersey. Put a bank. Don't retire his number. Put a bank with his name on it because that's all they did is bring money in. They didn't win shit.
What for the he represents
right? Like, come on, y'all.
Hey, Matt. By that logic,
everybody just wanted to go to Colorado and hang out with Dion. Call it what it is.
Exactly.
What were you
saying?
One
big ass hangout.
Is it safe to talk, Matt?
Oh,
no.
Well, Matt, I was going to say, based on that logic, I know this will mean a lot to you. We should go ahead and retire Spencer Bennington's jersey.
Might as well at this rate.
Oh, get off my boy Spence. Spence was big time.
Spence a good guy.
That dude was tough,
man. A good guy. If we're going down the retirement, Brandon Avalos is number one on the list.
Number one.
That 30-yard line still got his ass at Georgia.
Man.
They had.
Dude, we were so excited when he came in. All the Hillcrest folks were like, hey, man, the Hillcrest dude's starting a quarterback for Alabama. He scrambles out against Georgia and then trips over the 30-yard line. And we were like, oh, damn.
He started claiming County Higher Central.
Yeah, like, man, he transferred. He really wasn't Hillcrest, but for 1 year.
Lushawn, I know you're not going to be in Boulder, Colorado for retirement jersey. How can they follow you?
I mean, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Lucian Graves, on X, 4Rolu21. I'm always on there, obviously, talking shit to Tennessee fans, Auburn fans. If you're wearing orange and I see you on the side of the road, I'm going to say something to you, how ugly you are. And also, you can find me on Tuesday nights defending what is actual common sense in college football. That is the final whistle in the Avengers. And I say again, to the highest point, roll daggum tide.
Roll daggum tide. Chris, how can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, send the petty crazy inboxes.
Yeah, dude, do you send those to the group or are you just sending those to me? I'm glad you brought that up. I've always been curious. Is that a group thing or are you really just sending those to me?
I send them to you, man. Like,
shit, I'm going to start being a better responder because I thought I was just like you would send them to a group and to like a bunch of people and I'd be one of the recipients.
No, I send them to you because I think the ones I think you'll get a kick out of.
They're all damn hilarious. I'll start actually responding. Hey, that's funny as shit.
I send stuff to Matt and Lou, like whoever I think is going to laugh at it, I send it to them.
I now actually feel special. I thought I was just part of a big group.
I was like, no, my boy Petty pops. So let me send it to Petty. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook harassing these guys. Chris K. James Sr. X. I'm not really on X that much. X is wild. On the Coach Chris James. And I'm on Instagram at the _final_whistle Chris. I think the final
No, it's D Chris.
And there you have it. And there it is.
Oh, I think it's final underscore with the underscore Chris. Something like that. But you can find me. You can find me here every Tuesday night, man, with the Legion of Doom. You know, we're the Avengers too, but we're also the Legion of Doom. Because
we're becoming the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, we becoming the Legion of Doom.
I like that.
Over. You remember how you used to have the good wrestlers, and then all of a sudden they turn and they be bad.
Yeah,
we don't turn bad, so
turn heel.
Yeah,
turn heel. Shouts out to WrestleMania.
Entering our villain arc. I like it.
Vegas.
I like it.
Well, listen. Well, tune in next Tuesday, guys, where you can hang out with the Avengers, the aka the Legion of Doom. And Doom is out, and you know we like to end on those two words. RTR.
Murder ball. Joyless murder ball.
Going somewhere? Is he going somewhere?
Run the damn ball.
Roll Tide.
Roll Dago.
And this just in.
Nico just signed.
Georgia had another player pulled over.